Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here this afternoon, especially in the graveyard slot. Normally, members of the royal family are invited to start the proceedings, not close them. So now is the opportunity to wake up, spruce up, and realize that you're nearly over. You can get a drink. Pitch at the Palace. Very simply, in a number of interviews and conversations that I've had with entrepreneurs and businesses over a long period of time, over the last few years, it's become clear to me that we need to not only encourage young people to think about being an entrepreneur and to be enterprising, but to get them over that fear barrier of that actually if you're going to do it, you can do it and it can be done in a successful way. How does a member of the royal family add value in these particular circumstances? Is it by becoming a venture capitalist? Is it by being able to narrow your focus down to one or two businesses? And the answer that we came to a firm conclusion about was the answer is no. So we have come up with a new term, which is an accelerant. And so I act as an accelerant. I take no interest, and my organization takes no interest, but we are there to present businesses, new businesses, startups, and scale-ups, in order for them not only to present themselves to a wider community, but also to give them the opportunity to get four things, which in most cases startup businesses want, which is customers, network, mentors, and resources and investment. And that is all that we do. It is a very, very simple concept. We have done 3 of them in the last 18 months. We do one every 6 months. What has slightly surprised us is the fact that what we started off as a nice little furry animal that sat on the palm of my hand is now a voracious man-eating animal in the corner. But by doing that, we have moved ourselves from being a startup to a scale-up. We are now getting invitations to license pitch to various other countries who want to follow suit. But this is about showcasing the huge talent that we have, and Lord Young has been speaking about that capability and that talent that we have in this country. But what's interesting is that I see more and more businesses coming from overseas to come and use our ecosystem and what we have in this country. And I would like to encourage more people from overseas to think about starting their business in this country because we have the conditions that are right for them. Now, this afternoon, you're going to see 3 of the businesses that were at Pitch at the Palace 3 earlier in March. It is purely a sample to show you the sorts of businesses that we are seeing, the sorts of ways that we can enhance their capability, and hopefully they will go on to grow into not only scale-up businesses, but as Lord Young says, some of those big businesses in the future. We have a major challenge in trying to choose the sectors into which we narrow our focus on each occasion. We've spread the focus over the last 3, and we are still discussing where the next one's going to go, probably the Internet of Things. But it is an opportunity, and I hope that the 3 businesses that you will hear from this afternoon will give you a taste of what it is that we are trying to do. We hope to be able to go on and build and grow this as any other business would, but we are going to need a little bit of help and support. So if you're interested and you want to get in touch with us, I'm sure that you can find people in my office, or you can go through this man. Very useful. Interestingly, I'm not sure, do you work for him? Or does he work for you?
Anyway, you wouldn't answer.
Because sometimes I think I'm working for him. Michael, thank you very much indeed for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I'll leave it to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Well, now it's a fantastic opportunity to showcase the initiative. Just a few weeks ago, the three businesses that you're going to hear pitched their ideas to an absolutely packed room at St. James's Palace. And I think the thing that we want to show you today is some of that magic, because the call to action is we need to get more people involved, more supporters, more sponsors, more people to take this to the next level. So we want to bring those businesses to you to sort of show you what it is that you could be involved with. 3-minute pitches from the three businesses that you're going to hear. So I'm going to play the role of Nicholas Parsons, just a minute, just 3 minutes. There's going to be no compromise on time, no deviation, no repetition, hopefully. And while we can't bring you the Royal Buglers, we do have our trusty countdown clock, which is directly off the Channel 4 show, I'll have you know, to keep our founders on point. So first of all, I'm going to welcome onto stage our three businesses. After they've finished pitching, I'm going to have a little bit of a conversation, brief conversation with them about Pitch of the Palace in terms of what they went through, and then we'll move on to the final section. So please do welcome Patrick Stobbs, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Duke-Deck, Daniel Murray, who is the co-founder of Grabble, and James Arthur, who is the co-founder of OpenDesk. Please do give a big round of applause. Right, now Patrick is going to be our first speaker. Don't sit down. Your 3 minutes are about to start. Come and tell us all about your business.
300 hours of video is submitted to YouTube every minute, and 10,000 games are submitted to the App Store each month. And all this content needs music. But sourcing music is incredibly difficult. It's expensive and under copyright. It takes ages to find the right music, and you end up just using the same music as everyone else. This is the problem we set out to solve at Duke-Deck. We've created an artificially intelligent music composer, software that can write original music completely on its own. We spent 4 years developing patent-pending, world-leading technology that understands music theory and can write music note by note from scratch. What this means is that it can generate an unlimited amount of music at the touch of a button that's low cost, royalty-free, and instantly customizable. You can simply go onto our site, select your style, mood, and duration, and click Create. Now, we think this is pretty cool, but what's more exciting is that Duke-Deck is not just for video. Music is absolutely everywhere. Think games, retail, health, and fitness. All these markets will massively benefit from music that can react to who you are, what you feel, and what you're doing. This is what we're trying to do at Duke-Deck. Now, I think probably the most important thing is for me to play you a demo. Here's a little track of music that our piece of software wrote just a few minutes ago. The market for this is massive. $2 billion is spent each year on music for video, $1 billion is spent on music for games and other applications, and $13 billion is spent on music for personal listening. We've also assembled the perfect team to crack this problem. Ed, my business partner, studied music at Cambridge University and is a published composer. I spent 3 years at Google striking video and games partnerships. And back in Old Street, we've got a first-class development team, including PhDs in machine learning. We haven't even launched yet, but already Google and the Natural History Museum have used our music in their videos. And on YouTube, videos using our music have generated over 3 million views. And just in the past few weeks, we made our first sales of over 600 tracks to a multi-channel network. So we've proved that a computer can generate quality music that people want to use and pay for. Just quickly, 10 years ago in Vanity Fair magazine, Sean Parker, who was one of the pioneers of Facebook and Spotify, said that one day computers will be able to write decent music, and when that happens, it will change everything. At Pitch of the Palace, we were allowed to ask the audience for one introduction, and we asked to be introduced to Sean Parker. Thankfully, that happened, so I don't need to ask you anything, but if you want to know about music and artificial intelligence, come and let me know.
Excellently done. What none of you realise is that I'm actually watching a James Bond clock up here, and I'm sort of thinking the place is going to blow up, and he talks right on zero. Absolutely excellent job. Right. Okay, Daniel, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
3 minutes, start the clock.
Okay, good afternoon. Grabble is the UK's fastest growing mobile commerce app. We launched in October and have already amassed over 120,000 users who between them have generated over 100 million swipes on products that come from a range of retailers from boutiques to household names like Zara, Net-a-Porter, Topshop, and over 1,000 others. Unfortunately for us, our users don't just swipe, they also buy. Last month alone, we recorded over 250,000 clicks to buy at our retail partners' sites. So what is Grabble? Well, Grabble is quite simply the fastest and best way to find and shop fashion on your phone. Users swipe left and right through an endless fashion feed of products, much like Tinder. Not that most of you will know what that is, of course. And anything they swipe to the right that goes on sale, they get an alert, and users can buy anything they like through the app. Our team of stylists also select daily trend edits that they put into an area called Collections in our app, and users can swipe through those like a shoppable magazine. We were featured by Apple as the best new app in 34 countries, and that led to us having the highest ranking fashion app in the UK during London Fashion Week. And that kind of press attention got us in the Mail Online on the homepage, and sort of at the other end of the press spectrum, we were named by Forbes as London's hottest startup to watch in 2015. So who is the team behind Grabble? Well, there's myself. I'm an ex-advertising and marketing professional. Used to work with brands like Spotify and Amazon. My business partner, Joel, was at PwC, where he used to consult on technology. Our CTO was was a CTO and co-founder of a data scraping for e-commerce agency that he exited to WPP. And our fashion director, Cherry, comes from Net-a-Porter Group, where she was the global head stylist. Our amazing team is ably also guided through interesting times by an amazing group of investors, and our board consists of Alex Hoy, the chairman of Skimlinks, Mark Boyan, the founder and CEO of Miramar Ventures, Guy Hipwell, the ex-head of e-commerce at Liberties and Harrods, and Darren Childs, the CEO of UK TV. So the UK fashion market is destined to grow to £19 billion by 2019, and yet currently only a tiny portion of that is mobile, which is ridiculous if you consider that last year alone, mobile traffic overtook retail traffic for the first time. There's an accelerating shift in consumer mindset, all geared towards mobile, and there's a once-in-a-generation opportunity to capitalize on that, and that's what we intend to do. Whilst consumers are really comfortable using their mobile for everything, retailers really aren't. And they're stuck between a tricky position with mobile web being an incomplete solution and native apps also causing issues. We take the pain out of this situation for retailers and give them a perfect solution for discovery and also make their products available on mobile for users. We raised £1.2 million of angel funding, and we're just about to raise our Series A, so Bloomberg seems like the right place to ask for that. Please do get in touch. And our mission is simple, to make shopping on mobile fast, fun, addictive, and personal. Thank you.
James, the pressure is on. Am I going to have to cut you off now? There you go. Your 3 minutes start now. Off you go. That's yours.
So, hi, I'm James. I'm one of the co-founders of OpenDesk, a global platform for local making that's based around workspace furniture. Now, what's different about our furniture is it's designed to be made on demand using digital fabrication, which means that it can be personalized to a company's brand and environment. So we'll cut your logo into the center of your conference room table, we can extrude up your floor plan and customize our products to fit your exact space. Because it's also made locally, we cut out the whole world of shipping and logistics. When you cut out those cost layers, the price becomes competitive, and we're much faster than the competition. We can typically turn jobs around within 7 to 12 days instead of an industry standard 6 to 12 weeks. So a whole bunch of cool companies have been using OpenDesk to fit out their offices. Startups like DigitalOcean, Kano, Top 10, creative agencies, workspaces, brands like Greenpeace, Arup, John Lewis, Google, and Accenture. And I'm very pleased to be able to announce here today our new and most prestigious client, which is the office of His Royal Highness, the Duke of York. Thanks very much. So just to give you a sense of the numbers, last quarter we sold £180,000 worth of furniture. This quarter we're selling £250,000, and our target is 10 million annual revenue within 2017, which is around a 1.5% share of the £650 million market for workspace furniture here in the UK. Which brings me to the second thing that's different about our furniture, because it's not just designed for digital fabrication, it's also designed within the constraints that allow it to be downloaded and made locally anywhere in the world. And we have a global network of over 450 professional digital fabrication factories and workshops, people who can make open desks commercially near you, wherever you are in the world. We have an early adopter community of over 40,000 registered users, designers and makers downloading and making this furniture all over the world every day. And it's this model of distributed open making that's allowing us to build a global furniture brand faster than any other furniture company and without holding a single item of inventory. And our vision is to build this into a transactional marketplace that can underpin the design, purchase, and manufacture of a new generation of digitally made goods. And if you'd like to support that vision, I'd like to ask you all to think, could you pass on the concept to people in your network who you think would be interested or handle this kind of workspace fit out? And the next time that all of you here or one of your companies are moving or fitting out an office, think of OpenDesk and fit it out with open furniture. Thank you.
Have a seat. Brevity is the... I'm good, don't worry, you're going to get full 20 seconds. I mean, if brevity is the soul of wit, and in fact, you know, your namesake, James Arthur, wrote a song called Impossible, but you've shown you can do it in 2.5 minutes. Now, guys, tell us a little bit about Pitch the Palace, just in terms of the process, how you got involved, a little bit like that. So why don't we kick off with Patrick and just work our way around? Yeah.
Sure. We had to get through a couple of rounds before the final itself. So the main thing was a big semi-final with about 42 startups.
Where did you find out about it? Can you take us back to the first?
We actually got told about it by a guy called Brent Hoberman, who's founder of lastminute.com, and he said, "You need to do this. It's an awesome thing." And we were like, "Yeah, let's do it."
And the process a little bit, perhaps, Daniel, in terms of how it's.
So we were fairly later adopters, I would say, to Pitch the Palace. We found out about it sort of the day before we were meant to be pitching. And as I went up and did the pitch, it was my business partner that had practiced to do the pitch and everything. And then he fell ill, so I sort of went up there in this really awkward 3-minute situation where I was like, well, I know what my business does, so I'll just pitch it. And I was at Smarter Academy in Tottenham Court Road, and you know, it's a funny story, like the three of us, when they announced it, were all standing next to each other in a room of, you know, hundreds of people for some random reason.
Did you feel the pressure when you were pitching?
Yes, definitely. There was a big audience,
so
200
painting,
people.
A lot of people weren't there. Tell us, give us a
this
sense of what it
the
was.
semi-final or the actual event?
The actual event.
Oh, the actual,
well, actually,
the actual event was
actually.
terrifying.
Yeah, right.
No, the actual event was considerably more terrifying because you're obviously in a royal palace. It's not somewhere that you go most days. So as a starting point, that was rather amazing. And you did have, and I did get trumpeted at the end. So I had, you know, a guy with a trumpet, making sure that we kept to our 3-minute time. And
a guardsman with a trumpet.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, much scarier than the countdown clock.
Right.
Because he stands next to you for the last 10 seconds with the trumpet there, and you're like, can't really concentrate. It's a bit terrifying.
Right.
And you know, it's a very rapid fire event, so you're sort of waiting for your slot, and it goes.
So, James, tell us about a little bit about the people in the room. Tell us about who was there. Who did you meet on the night?
It is absolutely terrifying because 3 minutes are so short, you can't put a word wrong. If you've got a bit longer, you can kind of go in thinking what you're roughly going to say. You're going to do 3 minutes, you have to know it word by word. And the people in the room, everybody who's anybody in the UK startup and investment scene. Yeah. So if you're going to get it wrong, everybody's going to see it. If you're going to get it right, so it's yeah.
So your 3 brilliant pitches. I'd like you to pitch to this audience why they should get involved, why they should support Pitch at the Palace for future generations. So just give us your ideas.
Well, I'd say, I mean, I was sort of thinking to say is that if you look at our journey into this, so we set up this company, last year we raised a total of 630,000 seed funding. In that's through a series of investments. First was by Innovate UK, so that's grant funding from the UK government. The second was from Wayra, which is Telefónica's accelerator program, and that's how we got involved in Pitch at the Palace. And then we raised a crowd round with support of a whole bunch of people, and it's actually all that support has allowed us to build the company to this point where we're potentially raising further funding. We're going through and we're now selling these significant numbers.
But if you were to pitch at the Palace to this, just very, very quickly, I mean, maybe on the
Well, I think in a sense, I just sort of say it makes such a difference to a company like us to have your support.
Let's have another go.
It's the single most concentrated marketplace of investors and entrepreneurs in the UK. So that's good for both parties.
I think quite simply, if you get the honour of being invited into that audience, it says quite a lot about your pedigree in the first place, because every single person you meet on the day was unbelievable. I met Jimmy Wales, the founder of Wikipedia, who had Grabble on his phone, and I was like, that's the coolest thing that's ever happened in my life. You know, it was just awesome. And I quickly went home and made a Grabble Wikipedia page as I felt so bad. I was like, well, he's got my app and we don't have a Wikipedia page. But it was just that people like that, every single person in the room was someone like that, or an investor, and everyone was just incredibly nice and kind.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Pitch of the Palace finalists. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers. Lovely.